yeah, so these kits are kind of 7 years in the making. And also, I've been sort of thinking about all this with myself for the last 3 years, and I find that I'm sort of trying to prove to myself that there's this creativity in bipolar when that's already proven. So then it's like, well, what to do with it? Well, I really don't know. And so I just wanted to create this project to be like, I have no idea. Let's just move some stuff around, have some fun, have that same intention of sort of playful, not knowing, meaninglessness, and almost seeing that by going into meaninglessness, we can create something. If we are moving our hands, eyes, and our heart, and trying to create more of a motion with that, because there is so much motion to put everything into technology. And, that's sort of okay, but it's kind of going into nowhere. And then, the technology is listening to us when we're having conversations. So then it's sort of like putting stuff that's relevant from all that's put into it, into our awareness and responding to what we're saying. So it's like helping us to some degree, but then it's sort of making us almost addicted to it because it's so responsive and almost saying like, look at me, like here, I'll give you a meaningful Instagram post based on what you were saying, and then I put an ad by it, so then you buy this thing. So this is going, I don't know how it works, I'm just making stuff up, it doesn't matter. This is just going based on stuff that we have, or I'm wanting to move this up to different levels, possibly, depending on how it goes, to help us learn to do more gestures of health and, buy healthy products to contribute to like the healthy economy, and also the movement to stay embodied, if we are embodied at all, but to really make a gesture towards the physical, because of how like we could end up like Wall-E. Who knows? And for me, I actually feel quite sensitive to sometimes being around people who are like, everyone's listening to their phone at the same time and so much information. And for me, when there's some quiet, I can get into this space of creating something with my hands. And it's not about I want to create something great, it's about we do have the power to do this sort of thing. And we're losing young people to autism, which I'm not an expert on, but I feel like they're having trouble with words, but perhaps with space and creativity, like maybe something else comes about. They're very intelligent, and they're based more on visual perception, action, and when there's so much like stuff and words, it's possible that could be challenging. It's challenging for me. I find that sometimes I'm going into all these words to like inspire and change the world, so it'd be better place for the kids, so then they don't develop these real troubles that are getting worse and worse. And so if we were able to like design the space so there's not so much information overload of words, perhaps something else flowers from us as a humanity, and then people like me don't need to go into these states where we're like trying to change language and all of that, when really the language we might need to learn is more about interacting with stuff in our environment, especially because there's this movement towards virtual reality where we'll just be looking at a thing and not moving. So it's really kind of important that we're still able to move around, like based on what's actually there in our environment. At least that feels something that is important to me. I really don't know. Like, this is just, like I said, this is an experiment. It's about fun. It's about seeing how the body and being respond to this. So I haven't even started talking about the items, so I will do that now. Okay, so the items. I found these boxes, and so it's about what fits in this box. So not all the items will necessarily fit, but let's see. So I want to fit in this little notebook, which kind of goes against what I'm saying with no words, but this is about observations if you want for doing this experiment, and then you could send them in to me or take pictures and send what you wrote and write it out by hand. You know, that's really powerful. There's also some sticky notes. So the sticky notes kind of make it not fit, so I'll put them in further. And you know, a little tag thing there, and now the notebook fits in there just perfectly. And you know, here are 2 bracelets, bracelet hair ties. You can do the friendship thing. I'll probably put some of the little stuff in a baggie. So here's a baggie, and you can use a baggie for whatever. There's also a piece of tape on the baggie that you can use, even just to remind you of tape that you have. And there are these little Velcro things. They're kind of cheap. They probably don't even really work. Doesn't matter. You know, a little clip here, and you know, a chocolate. If you like chocolate. And that's like a gesture of friendship. And it's also about, like, this kit is about creativity, but it's also a little bit to start in the sensory modulation. So creativity modulation and sensory modulation. And so, you know, or you don't like this, you can give it away. And you know, this gesture, like giving it away, is, you know, it's really powerful when we reach out as humans. The human gaze and gazing and looking with unconditional love, we don't know this, but if we really look at someone with unconditional love, and even if they gaze back, if we stare at each other for a while like this, we actually we help them to flower into their gifts that they don't even see, but we also download their gift. Now, we walk around looking at people, judging usually, myself included, well, not usually, but sometimes, and so we miss absorbing their gifts. Anyway, that I'm not going to try and prove that or anything. And there's some string and a couple different types of these popsicle sticks. This is a gesture of safety also. So if you were afraid and you think you're gonna like jump off a bridge, you can like tie yourself to something. And you might want to get a thicker one that's not like this, but this is also to make a hexagon and a square or whatever you want. And then this one is for you to wear, you know, wear this like Cosmos one. And earplugs, this is for sensory modulation. It's a gesture of things are too loud, you know, and we can change that. There is a thing called knops. I don't know if they're shipping now, but KNOPPS. And you can like click them and they don't require any batteries, and it'll turn down the sound in your ears. Like, I don't have those things. I don't think they're shipping them yet. You know, an elastic band. And like this piece of something, maybe I won't include that, but I have this piece of that, you know, to play with, and in case you're sad and you need a Kleenex, so you don't gesture of friendship, a crayon, and these are different pieces of paper, like little origami papers and stuff. Should have put that down further. And a smell. This is vanilla, so you can just smell it and remind you that sometimes, like, smelling things can be triggering, or so sometimes, like if you're going to be out and about, you can create an epigestoretic kit that you take with you that you can mitigate certain senses that come into your awareness that are a little too much. And then there's like a special message card, but I didn't read them, and I just put a different name of an animal or something on the back. So if you want to like write which one you are, and then let me know what your message is. It's just a fun part of the game. Like, did the message resonate? And that's part of like the only words. There's not too many other words in here. And then this is like a little clip thingy. A little fork and spoon. And a feather, just to remind you that like, try not to let people clip your wings. Words can often be wing clippers. Hair elastic, that can be handy. Here's a needle and thread, which I should probably just put, you know, here's already something happening where it starts to see connections, where you can just sort of put it in the earplug and then it's okay. So be careful, one of your earplugs, it has a needle in it, and a needle and thread if you feel like sewing. A couple Werther's candies. I'll put this in this so they don't get the smell of the vanilla. And like a piece of half cork, and a paper clip, and another clip, and this is a piece of sage, so you know you can smell it. You know, these are also reminders like, hey, I like this, I'm gonna go get a big thing of sage. And I did create a little store on Shopify related to that. Also a Bodhi leaf. This might get all like torn up in transit, so, but that's okay. You'll have the energy of this Bodhi leaf, which is from a magical tree. And then a button and this eye thing, and twist tie and a piece of gold paper, and another powerful magical leaf just for energy. And then a piece of this so you can make your own bracelet, or you can make whatever you want out of it. You know, I'm showing this too in case, so you can see, well, hey, it'd be fun to have this, or, and be part of this experiment, or hey, I can create my own experiment because I have some of this stuff, I don't need yours. And then a nice like thank you piece of paper for whatever. And it's all fitting in here nicely. Here's another type of string, and I'm going to send information on how the experiment works. And I did create like a PayPal.me thing for the future, because I'm going to want to maybe try to make this part of my work. I've been working on this for a long time. And then this like bit and bob, and also this is it's laminating kind of paper, so you can stick stuff in there and just like stick it together. Kind of fun. And yeah, you can see how these things relate. You know, you could even just like, you know, work on your hand-eye coordination with this, because you know, some of us, we lose our fine motor skills, and you know, I've done a lot in mental health, and one thing I remember them doing is cognitive remediation with computers, so like sitting and playing computer games to get the brain going. But I feel like doing this kind of stuff would be a little bit more fun than sitting and staring at a computer. And they really try to, it does help, but they try to like convince you that these games are helpful, and there's like pressure. And the pressure, like this is no pressure. Nobody's around. Nobody's going to judge what you're doing. It's meaningless. It's just like you lay it out and do something if you want. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe you just stare at it, you know, and maybe you say, I don't like these certain things. I don't want to look at this. You know, you find out preferences, or you see. It's about getting the peripheral, the whole visual field working with the hands and the eyes. And what I've found over the years, because sometimes I go into perception action, is how instead of when I'm living, if I design my space so I can see most things, which looks a little bit messy, but I'm very visual now. If I need something, I just see it. I don't know if I see it before I think it, but I'm not thinking, where is this, where is that? It's literally like, I know this can be very handy for like emergency situations. So also like what I said about how us working with our hands together at the same time, like, yeah, we're doing that in some contexts, like say a factory, but they're all like doing these like meaningless things and they're bored. Now this is to be more, maybe more boring because it's more meaningless, but we're doing what we want with stuff instead of what we've been told. And, you know, a lot of going back into the economy is doing what we're told. And that's important sometimes, for sure. But this has nothing to do with doing what we're told or even what our thoughts are telling us to do. It's kind of what our visual field and our hands and heart and eyes are informing by the whole of everything. And then I talked a bit about, there's a lot of things that can help us move through daily life, but this is about the 427 and this orange bag. You know, blocking orange is actually blocking out the blue. Using orange blocks out the blue light, which actually can get us into really heightened states. So if we really want to be weird, we can make some makeshift glasses with this. Alternatively, we can, you know, buy glasses too, but this is a way for you to start blocking the blue light right away if you want, if you see fit. And that fits in there. I do have this tea bag, and you know, make sure you're not allergic to the ingredients or something, but it's just about like, oh, treat yourself to a cup of tea. And I also want to be silly and include, oh, sorry about that, that's loud. Include like a capsule, an empty capsule. And I'm going to just imbue it with the magic of 427, you know. And that's all. Just goes in there. And you can even put something in that capsule. And so that's the whole kit, except also a glove. So this is multiple use, right? Or you could decorate the glove with stuff, but it's also about like, you know, protecting the hands, or you can use a protected hand to pick up some kind of garbage, or, you know, you can blow it up and make a balloon. Like, it's just about seeing how many different ways we can see an item. And then the point of this too is like, I think we have an incredible creative ability that is a great resource to humanity, possibly, that is sort of lost in the downward movement of the so-called bipolar biorhythm, whether, you know, it's rapid or, you know, long, or long with rapid bits. Like, everyone is possibly a little different. I don't know. Again, I'm not talking about the illness part. I'm talking about the creativity and seeing if we can build something. I don't know what it's going to do, but I do feel like we have skills that can be really useful to the world, and we may have to creatively figure out how to create other roles for ourselves. So say we start doing this and it's kind of fun, we might be able to create these kits and share it with children, or we might be able to create a certain type of kit that is say for children that might help the kids with autism. I don't know, because I do feel that we have experience with like sensory overload type things. And not that we have autism per se, but that we might understand what it's like to have like too many words and like the pressure of like needing to explain oneself or do things a certain way, or, you know, like there are similarities a little bit, possibly. So we might be able, by doing this, to figure out a way to share our creative energy with others in a grounded way. And by moving our body instead of so much mind and words, we'd be doing less of explaining it and more of showing it. So this is also a project to see if there's a way that we can show ourselves, or show, like, I don't know what it's going to show. It might not show anything. It might be that us doing this, you know, might tap into some kind of unseen element. In the heightened state, we feel like we can see a lot that others can't see. This is bringing that potentiality into just direct contact with manifestation. And it seems like the world wants us to maintain more of a direct contact with manifestation, and it's kind of hard sometimes. And I went way, way up last time, and now like so down that I'm sort of afraid to keep writing. I might want to just go more into just this sort of meaningless creativity stuff. I don't know. What I'm trying to do is create this experiment, and to also create a role for myself. So I did create the Synchronicity website. It's a work in progress. It's like messy and partly like way too manic right now. But I'm trying to create some services. And, you know, one might be consulting based on this kit. Another might be like just doing the eye gaze over Skype, because I've done that before and it's been really powerful. And also, you know, in person, like just touch the top of people's head, because human contact is what helps to create circulation in the body, as well as sunlight and grounding. So there are a lot of things like that, and I've explored a lot of gestures. So I could possibly like consult on certain gestures and give certain ideas about, you know, how to stay grounded with this. And I have to do that myself as well. And I find computers kind of speed me up, and it puts the brain into this non-local space of everything is everywhere at all times. And, you know, if the brain gets confused and thinks that's true of the physical manifestation, like this lid is everywhere at the same time, it's not. So there's certain constraints. So part of this is teaching the body to stay within those constraints. I don't know, there's a lot to it. And I put like, it's possible that I would consult with people if they want like some kind of idea. Also, I feel like I could listen to people's ideas, because I've kind of seen the future possibilities, and I've written a lot about it too. So it's somewhere, and then if you say it, it'll possibly like resonate with that potentiality and help bring something to you in physical manifestation, to move that forward. I don't know. I'm just trying to find out a different role, like a different way to be useful to society than, you know, creating so many jobs in the social system, like so much need for psychiatry and everything, and that's still needed, and it's overloaded. Like there's too many people seeking for help in that way. Like we're all, like mental health is such a big thing right now. So yeah, and also I'm trying to create a role where, you know, I can be useful when I'm feeling like I can help, and then other times I'm just not functioning. And lately I've been like way more like this, so it's a bit more unreliable for me. And so yeah, I'm not sure. I want to sort of like co-creatively create roles. Like if you need help with something, whether it's a gesture or an idea or lyrics or I don't know, like anything creative, let me know, because I'm trying to figure out a way to make that more useful for humanity than, you know, most of my work is like in like a box of notebooks. Now, if you like come to me in some way, like help with something, I might have something valuable. I just can't really put it into any logical order because the way it manifests is not in a logical way, because logic is part of the movement about what's already known. So creative stuff sort of comes as a download and out of context a lot of times. Writing it down actually brings it into some kind of manifestation, but a lot of times there's so many ideas that I literally can't carry them all out. And some of them are good. And so if you come to me, I might have had that idea. You know, like an example of an idea I had was to create like a smoothie place that's more like Subway. So instead of having the menu with all the smoothies, you just have all the ingredients and you like in the blender and then whip it up for the person. So, you know, that's an idea. If you are bored and you want to create a business, there's one. But yeah, so I've had a lot. And, you know, they say that companies are most looking for creativity. Well, there's a lot of creativity in people like me, but I think we need to create ourselves as some kind of like creativity consultant where people can call and say, hey, I need support with this or help with this. And then we can marinate on it and say, okay, here you go. What do you think about this? Then they can like put it to the test. And if it helps, then after like support us with some kind of monetary thing, because that's how we exchange economic stuff right now. And then you know, maybe we'll figure some stuff out with this inventive creativity kit or creativity augmentation, modulation. You know, I just feel like we do have a lot to offer, but we don't really have a role in society to do so. There's no like scaffolding for that. So it's sort of up to us to create this kind of scaffolding for it. And, you know, say, hey, like we can say, hey, I'm bipolar, or I have bipolar. So it means like maybe half the time I can't even brush my teeth. But part of the time I could maybe give you a great idea. So yeah, I thought of an idea to create like an idea bank, but I think I need to go with what it is that I can just do myself. So I can't have people sending me all these ideas because I have too many of my own and I won't be able to read them all anyway. So I have to fix that part, but yeah, it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to work, and I'm not sure if it makes me up, but here's the glove. And then I'll just put a little explanation, and I put the little Synchronicity PayPal. This is just, I don't care if you send anything, it's just I need to figure out some kind of purpose that is in alignment with embodying that heightened energy and being grounded with it somehow. So this is an experiment for myself. I really don't know. I have no idea. So also, there's an envelope with a stamp. So if you want to look on Synchronicity and find the mailing address, you can like send me a note or send something creative just for fun, because it's fun to get stuff in the mail. And, you know, getting back to like stuff in the mail a little bit more than email and everything. So yeah, that's a lot about it. And there's another element of the game of 427 that I'm going to add in later. Stay tuned for that. This video is about the first iteration of the kit. I could probably spend a lot of time making kits. So if you want a kit and it's not part of this kit, let me know. Or if you have ideas, yeah, hopefully I've explained that. And it's about being childlike in a safe way and a meaningless way, because we need to create more energy in this meaningless space so new meaning can arise. I don't want to say anything that sounds like it's a formula or some kind of solution. I really have no idea at all. And that's for sure. So yeah, let me know if you would like a kit, or you know, or just, you know, put hashtag Synchronicity and show it rather than tell it. Just show. And we need to start to be able to show in manifestation what we're able to do. I read a quote in Time magazine that said, vision without execution is hallucination. So, you know, if we just start like executing things with our being, perhaps there'll be less going into things with words and then needing to hallucinate our way back into contact with the mainstream. In order to get back in contact with it, we need to hallucinate and then like go to the hospital to get medicated to bring ourselves down. Ignore that last part. There's so much more to it than that. I'm very grateful for all the help that I've been given over the years, and it is quite relatively helpful for sure. So yeah, let me know if you would like a kit by going to Synchronicity, and let me know why you want it, and or if you'll participate with your own kit, and you know, just put it on, you know, Instagram or something with what kit you made, and just share it and move at 427 to 432. And then if you want, get yourself one of these love tuners from lovetuner.com, and it's 432 hertz sound. Actually, I made that up. It's 528. Let's just do it at 432. Then we blow onto this. I think 432 is C note. I don't know, it doesn't matter. 5 minutes, 432. Blow the love tuner, which they said more people making that sound at the same time has an effect too. So yeah, and I'm gonna talk more about this as I go along. Thank you for listening.